Welcome back to The Surge on 94.7. I'm Hunter Cornejo alongside Jonathan Gurley and Taylor Ladwig, and today we are going to be discussing the most disappointing teams in the MLB this season. We're approaching the All-Star break. It's the beginning of June, getting closer and closer to the midway point in the season. And Jonathan, what is your most disappointing team so far this year?
Most disappointing team in the MLB right now to me is the San Diego Padres. I mean, I think as of right now, they're in, I believe, third or fourth place in the NL West. And this roster is just flat out too talented to be in this spot in the NL West. You have guys like Manny Machado, Fernando Tatis Jr. is back. You go out and give Xander Bogaerts an 11-year contract this offseason. You have Jake Cronenworth. There's no reason for this team to be as bad as they are. They have the pitching, Joe Musgrove, Yu Darvish, Blake Snell. You have Josh Hader in the bullpen. The San Diego Padres should not be struggling this much to where they have to try and keep up with the Rockies and the Diamondbacks and the Giants. It almost frustrates me how bad this team is, because we've had these expectations for the Padres for a couple of years now, and they just can never live up to it. And it's honestly getting frustrating for how exciting that team should be.
Taylor, what's your thoughts?
I surely can agree with the Padres thing because that team is star-studded. But the Cardinals is another team that's highly disappointing because you're in the NL Central, right? The best team in that division is the Cardinals, and it's not even close to a talent standpoint. Like the Brewers, they have good pitching, sure, but their hitting has always been a question. The Cubs, kind of a young team, and their starting pitching is awful. Their bullpen is decent, and their hitting is not great. And then you have the Pirates, who are ahead of the Cardinals right now, should not be ahead of the Cardinals. Look, the Pirates, they're a young team, but they should not be ahead of the Cardinals. The Cardinals have a star-studded lineup. Like you have Jack Flaherty, Miles Michaelis. In the bullpen, you have Jordan Hicks, as well as you have old guys like Adam Wainwright. And then hitting, you have Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Gorman, Nolan Arenado. You have at shortstop, Paul DeYoung, power hitter, great defender. You just signed Wilson Contreras to a long-term deal. Look, the Cardinals in a weak division like the NL Central should not be sitting in fourth place. The Padres are disappointing. The Cardinals are disappointing. But the Cardinals in such a weak division, this is a mighty disappointment, whereas the Padres can be a little more expected because that's such a tough division with the Dodgers sitting at the top. But the Cardinals, absolutely terrible so far.
And our Quick Trip phone lines are open at 555-555-5555. Give us a call in and tell us your thoughts on the most disappointing MLB team this season.
To your point, Taylor, about the Cardinals struggling, I think you can make an argument for them struggling, but the Padres had 100-win expectations. The Cardinals had expectations to win 90 games and only win the division.
Yeah, I mean the Cardinals they should be good. The Padres should be good, but it's all subjective to. Oh, we have a caller from Houston. We have Julia.
All right, so I have some breaking news. I just saw that the PGA Tour and LIV Tour are combining for one big golf event. What are y'all's opinions on that?
What?
Hold on. I need to fact check this because I mean you get some scam calls occasionally. That is. ESPN just posted. Wow!
It's
all the PGA tournament.
Goodness!
Who would have thought that 1 year removed from the LIV Tour being established after some of the top names in golf left to go to the Saudi-funded tour after the PGA Championship, that there would be a merger, as it was pretty much a death sentence for a PGA golfer to take the money.
That takes a little bit to. Because
imagine you're a golfer and you got a contract offer to go with a bunch of money from LIV, and you get limited schedule, you can still play in the tournaments, and you're like, no, I'm going to stick with the PGA, and then a year later the groups are together. Look, you must be fuming right now.
Yeah, exactly. And there's guys like Rory who have been absolutely trashing the LIV for so long, and now they're merged. Look, if I'm a guy that's like lesser known, like not the Rorys and the Tigers, because they have all the money in the world, and then you pass up $200 million to go to the LIV Tour, and now you can just join back, I would be furious. Like, they had to have known about this, right?
I think really the only one who knew was Rory, because Rory was very vocal against the LIV Tour, and then all of a sudden after the Masters, I'm no longer going to be against the LIV Tour publicly. So maybe he knew, because everything else, it seems like from Twitter so far, that these players are blindsided by this.
But then how long has this truly been in the making for?
Well-
Because if Rory said a week ago he's done talking about it, then this has to have been in the plans well before the PGA Tour even happened.
Who
wow.
would have thought that two of the biggest rival organizations, with how the Live started with the Phil Mickelson saga,
yeah, exactly.
like the whole PGA Championship that week last year in Southern Hills, there was all this talk on why is the defending champion not
Exactly.
in Tulsa,
And
then the news breaks that following week, and it felt like the golf world was thrown upside down, and now people are starting to adjust to a Live in a PGA world, and now they're back to one with no, like,
It's a
anything
snow globe that
set
they
in-
keep shaking. Everything gets tossed up every
yeah,
single
nothing
time.
set in stone on. You would think the players, all their money was like a signing bonus, so all those players that left should be able to keep
just
that
get-
money.
they get
But if
hundreds of
not,
millions.
Does
like,
Liv even still have a TV deal yet?
I
they
believe
had the CW, so
Yeah, I mean, so this is big for Liv as well, and I hope I'm wondering if they want to keep that like team system, because I mean it's kind of cool, but I mean this is honestly, even from a relationship standpoint, like the Phil Mickelson relationship with the PGA Tour, he goes on Twitter every day and trashes them. So I'm curious to see how that will like be intertwined again. But I'm glad to see like a guy like Brooks Koepka come back, because Koepka just won the PGA Championship. He is a very good golfer, and at his peak, he's a top 5 player in the entire world. But like one of the things was like, since they can't play in these PGA events, they can't get those OWGR points, which means that they can't qualify for the majors. So it was all about like that long term. Like, okay, whenever Brooks continues to slide down the OWGR, how are you going to keep him out of the majors? But this is great for golf, and it's great for the golf fans. Now, I'm curious to see how the relationships will turn out, because those guys like Phil and Rory who have trashed back and forth, it'll be interesting to see how that shakes out, or what will happen if they get paired together in a big tournament.
And we have to go to break, and when we get back, we will be discussing more terms of this deal, and does this mean the fan experience that the Live Tour has created will come to the PGA?